Woohoo! Long time no freaking see. Here we are, Orlando, Florida, ready for the Bassmaster Opens Eastern Division, ready for the Bassmaster Eastern Opens that kick off tomorrow on the Harris Chain of Lakes. My first actual ever event of that caliber, I guess you could say, because it's a caliber tournament. Fishing as a co-angler, looking forward to it, man. Had a curiosity about this for years, so excited to finally get into it. Looked at doing this ever since I got out of the Army. Got the old single cab cleaned up, my truck cleaned up. I'm about to run out of here, forgot to close the garage. So first stop is to get some gas in the old truck here. Keys would help. After gas, gonna head down to Leesburg for tournament registration. Some things I gotta do at the hotel, meeting up with Lucas, old Bogo. Gonna do some paperwork at the hotel first and foremost, and then gonna head over to tournament registration, get all that crap knocked out of the way, all the administrative work side of everything. All the fun stuff has to be knocked out. Again, the tournament starts tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And from as far as I'm concerned with the rules that I've received, again, we have this whole meeting and registration. They go over everything one more time. As far as I'm concerned, the entire chain is open, including Lake Apopka, which is pretty exciting, and it's good news for a lot of people. Crazy conditions, we've seen them all. We've seen temperatures drop into the 40s at night. We've seen water temperature drop as low as 61 and be as high as 66. So a lot going on. Super windy the past couple days of practice. Past 2 mornings have been full overcast, with the afternoons turning into, sporadic cloud cover. So nevertheless, we're getting ready to fish this thing tomorrow. I guess I'll meet who I'm fishing with today and then kind of go over a game plan, if any of that. I'm just kind of swinging this thing, honest to God. So we're gonna see what happens. Appreciate y'all tuning back in for another Bass Leader video. We are kicking off 2019 fresh. A lot of cool stuff I'd like to show you guys. So I really appreciate you guys hitting that subscribe and sticking around. So we'll see you guys later in this video. Let's get some stuff done. Whack! Nice. Old camera lens likes to focus. So we're pulling up to this hotel now. There's a couple dudes staying here, but Lucas in particular is who we're picking up. Would you look at that?
Hello?
Yeah, what's up, man? I just pulled up.
Alright, cool. We'll be out in a sec.
You want me to meet you in the lobby so we can print out that stuff on the computer?
Yeah. That sounds good. We'll see you in a sec.
Yeah. So that there is the extent of my first ever BASS tournament there in the Opens, the Eastern Division there. So I registered, I should say, to fish all 4 of the Bassmaster Opens Eastern Division tournaments this year on the Harris Chain of Lakes, Lake Chickamauga, the something river, and Oneida Lake, Oneida, however the heck it's said anymore. And I had a lot of things happen this year that kept me off the water and kept me away from those tournaments. So I just want to get started and talk about my experience in the Bassmaster Opens, as you could tell by the video. Now, this was something I was super stoked and excited about. I was actually, when I got out of the Army, I was working a union electrical position in Orlando, Florida, and I was working on the job, and I got like 6 phone calls from a buddy of mine who was saying, hey, I've got a guy who's fishing the pro side in the Opens. He needs a link for a co-angler. Are you down? You've got 15 minutes to decide. Let us know. You have to pay the deposits. I think the deposits were like $800 up front for the 4 tournaments. Yeah, like 800 bucks. You gotta pay half of the tournament registration fees for each tournament up front. That's $800 deposit. I said, absolutely. I've been looking for years to fish the Bassmaster Opens. Ever since I can remember, like a freshman in high school, I've been curious of how the Bassmaster Opens format works. And it was always really hard to get in for like just one tournament on like the Harris Chain or Lake Toho. It's a lot easier when you can link with a pro, which is what I did, and was able to sign up for all 4 tournaments. Which in the grand scheme of things, in a perfect world, I thought I'd be able to fish them all. So we're here to talk about how I signed up for them all and how I wasn't able to fish them all. To kind of start off, the beginning of the Harris Chain, I had a huge vlog, man. I had like a 29 minutes worth of vlogs and videos of meeting guys, meeting some of you guys, most of the pros that I knew that we were talking to, and just the whole generic setup of the Opens tournament. And I lost it. If I went into that, it'd be a whole nother video. Basically, I had to get a new laptop and a whole new camera, so here we are recording. Footage that you just saw at the beginning of this video was the day before the tournament. Tournament morning comes around, whack, they cancel it. Winds are coming in at like 198 miles an hour. You might as well just call it freaking Hurricane Charlie all over again, because it came through and it blew hard. And by 8:30 that morning, it was done. There wasn't a cloud in sight. It was bluebird skies. It was beautiful out. I actually took my boat out in Orlando. We went out and fished the day they were supposed to have the tournament. So day 1 got canceled. Coming into day 2, we wake up and it's still blowing about 198 miles per hour. There's a drizzle which is coming in sideways because it's blowing so hard. But there's no thunder, there's no lightning. So you've got the wind and you've got the rain. And I pulled this guy from Georgia, real good dude. Let me just start off there. He's a really good guy, you know. I've never been so freaking terrified in a bass boat as I was that morning run. Now, going there from the launch to my first spot was about, I don't know, call about a 15-minute run to the northeast side of Big Lake Harris, there on the Harris Chain of Lakes. And the rollers were coming from the north, so they were coming opposite of where we were running. And the rollers were, you know, these big old 4 or 5 foot rollers were going away. Man, he had this Triton. We would go up and we would smash the first one, then we'd come back and we'd smash the next one, and then we'd jump down, then we'd come up and smash another one. I thought I was gonna get thrown the heck out of the boat. Never been so terrified in a bass boat my entire life. I own a Gambler bass boat. It runs pretty much upper 60s, low 70s by myself. I can run that thing probably on Lake Erie, but I was pretty freaking scared sitting in the passenger seat. So it was tough. We get to the first spot, and as I stated before, it's freezing. It's like 3 degrees outside in Florida. The wind is just blowing harder. The wind is blowing into the shoreline we're trying to flip. And the pro I'm fishing with, he catches one within like 5 minutes. It's a good little 3-pounder. And we proceed to fish for the next 9 hours, and your boy Connor Mack zeroed. Whoosh, not a flippin' fish. I set the hook 5 times on fish. I had one that was a complete stud come up to the boat, and I lost him on a square bill. I zeroed. You want to talk about pissed? I'm talking pissed. Pissed. Yeah, I freaking get back, and I have everybody asking me how the tournament went. I love the Harris Chain of Lakes. I've caught, to date, my biggest fish in a tournament, 8.5 pounder out of the Harris Chain of Lakes with my boy, Captain Grady Maynard. Awesome guide out there on the Harris Chain to check out. And I mean, I love fishing Harris. I can go around there from Griffin to Eustis to Little Lake to Big Lake Harris. I can catch fish, you know, in Dora, you know, everywhere. I just enjoy fishing that fishery. But we stayed in the same 100-yard stretch for 9 hours while the pro was flipping. And I was getting frustrated at times, but I kind of knew how it worked. Now, if you, let me explain. If you don't know how the Bassmaster Opens work, there's a pro who's the guy who runs the boat and calls all the shots of where the boat goes, how fast it goes, when it goes, and where it goes. Then there's you, which would be me. This little guy in the back of the boat jumping around. Wee, can't wait to catch fish. I just sit in the back of the boat and I wait for something to happen on my lure to catch a fish. And we were flipping all day, so I was kind of flipping stuff that was already picked through. But I had 5 fish hit, and I only need to weigh in 3 fish, so I missed all my opportunities, so that's on me. But just a tough day mentally, and I drove home with my tail between my freaking legs, and it was sad. And I knew I was pretty much out of it. It was only a 2-day tournament anyway, so I pretty much wasn't going to see any check from my home lake. I was really hoping to perform at least a little bit well, but, you know. And this is where my first honorable mention comes out to Eric Tilson. What a guy. Great dude. I'm not just saying that because I know he watches my videos. Eric's a real good dude and a complete freaking Toho hammer. If you're lucky enough to fish against this guy and his partner on Lake Toho, or just the Kissimmee Chain in general, you might as well just donate to the cause and put that boat of yours back on the trailer and go the heck home, because this guy's gonna whoop your butt. I talked to Eric that day, and he kind of told me, you know, mentally you've got everything sound. The Bassmaster Opens, it's 90% the pro that you pick and wherever you're at. And most of the guys that were doing well on the co-angler side on day 1 were fishing offshore. It's a lot easier to fish 2 people offshore than it is when you're flipping and pitching. And to kind of go back, I was talking about the format. You get a pro, you get a co-angler, but it's totally random. So like a computer generates who you fish with. So you could fish with freaking Kevin Van Dam on day 1, and then Mark Snow, I hope that's not a real name, from Toronto, Canada, who's never fished the Harris chain a day in his life, and you're out there just, okay, where are we going? Like, you don't even have a trolling motor on your boat. What are we doing? So you get all walks of life in the Bassmaster Opens, and that's not to be a bad thing. That's not complaining about it, but that's just the format and how it works. So it's kind of luck of the draw who you get. And on day 2, I got a local guide who I think was sitting in 18th place after day 1. So it was awesome. I was like, cool, guaranteed. Man, I had 3 fish in the boat before the pro even got a bite. It was awesome. And I was doing the type of fishing I love, fishing offshore grass with a 10-inch ribbon tail worm. And I had my 3 fish in the boat before he even leaned back on a fish. It was awesome. I was stoked. I had a lot of motivation coming from Eric the night before. He's talking about, man, just keep your head down and fish. You drew a really good pro for day 2, so you're probably going to be on them. So mentally it was real clear, and I had those 3 fish in the well, and I called probably about, we were due back at 4 o'clock, and I called at like 3:45. Finally put a decent fish in the boat. Ended up weighing in like 9 pounds on 3 fish. That put me in like 160th place of 201 co-anglers, or 201 competition field. But I was more than grateful for the experience. It was super cool to be able to get up on a stage of that caliber of the bass. You kind of look at the Bassmaster stage as like this holy grail of bass fishing. And people were able to watch me go up there live. I know Eric was able to watch me go up live. Had I known you were watching, Eric, I would have gave you the shout out there on the live, bassmaster.com, wherever it was. But seriously, all seriousness, shout out to Eric for the motivation in that tournament. Forever grateful for the words that guy, always commits to me. If you want to follow me on Instagram, his Instagram is Legend of Woolly Swamp, the most badass Instagram name you'll probably ever find. And like I say, he's an awesome dude and complete hammer. So going into the second tournament is on Lake Chickamauga. And if you saw my last video, you kind of realized I had some hiccups in life. And I made a decision to sit that one out. I was unemployed for a little bit, and I was able to find a job, and at that point the tournament kind of fell within the first 4 weeks of me getting this job. So how good would it have looked for me to put in my first 2 vacation days in the first month I'm working there? And my girlfriend's mom was planning on getting married, so I wanted to save those times so I could make the wedding. So threw an next for Chickamauga. Obviously it sucked. I wanted to make the tournament, plus I had $200 down, but you know what, it's money. I can go to work tomorrow and I can make up the money for that. You can't make up the memories for, going to a wedding or going out and taking any vacation with my pride and joy, my girlfriend, my better half. So that happened. Missed Chickamauga. Next event, the Smith River. I don't even know anymore. I'm so all over the place. I missed the next event strictly on financial complications. I was moving into a house and really just couldn't get there. I kind of just made the decisions to pull out of the Bassmaster Opens as total. It is a huge commitment at the beginning of the year, so if you don't have stable work, stable vacation days, and stable traveling schedule, do not, and I mean do not, sign up for the events. I made a huge mistake and I spent out $800 up front. But I'm forever grateful for those 2 days experience, really 3 days, because the first day I was able to spend with Lucas and a ton of other guys and just, build a ton of relationships, and that's priceless there. And to go out on day 1 and get skunked, that's priceless too, because I had an awesome pro who was real friendly. I learned a lot, even though I completely sucked. Day 2, had an awesome guy and learned a lot as well, even though I tore him up. Just didn't make enough weight to make a difference. You need like 100 pounds in order to place a check that tournament either way. So I'm forever grateful. If you look at it in the sense that it cost you $800 for 3 days, you're already kind of, I think you're lost anyways if you kind of think about it in the way of the money. That pretty much closes it out for my co-angler season in the Bassmaster Opens. I've only got to fish 1 event. Hopefully next year I've got everything. Looking at it, I'm pretty stable now. I've got a stable job. I'm in a house. Everything kind of is concreted together. Getting out of the Army, I should have known I was going to have some rocky edges, which I dang sure did. And life comes and life happens. So, I take that like a man, take that on the chin and learn some life lessons. I'm forever grateful for that opportunity. I wouldn't change anything for the world. I don't regret missing any of these 3 events. Again, they are just fishing tournaments, but at the end of the day, I'm forever grateful to be able to weigh in those 3 fish at the Bassmaster Opens there on the Harris Chain Lakes. That was awesome. So any advice I could give you if you're looking into joining Bassmaster and being on this, you know, this co-angler trail, if you're doing the whole co to pro and that's your dream, definitely set those days apart in advance. I mean, go to work, go to your supervisor, your boss, owner, CEO, whoever it might be, and get those days off of work. The tournaments were typically on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but you had to be there on Wednesday for registration, which means you had to get there on Tuesday. If you expected to get any practice done, you had to be there on Monday. You're talking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's 5 vacation days. I get that about a year. So times that by 4 tournaments, you're missing some work. You might have a really cool boss who's willing to give you that time off, but at the end of the day, if you expect any type of practice time to go up there and meet up with guys who have their rigs and ready to go fish and practice, I don't think it's a big deal for co-anglers to practice, because you don't know who the heck you're gonna be fishing with come game day anyways. So you might go up there and practice with 3 guys, and then when the tournament comes around, you might pull a guy that you're not even fishing with, who he might not even have practiced, who he might have gone on and did some practice, and it would be something totally different. So I think you can get away with going up there on like a Wednesday morning. To most tournaments, the registration is typically in the evening before the tournament. So it's typically on a Wednesday evening before the tournament, which starts on a Thursday. So if you have to fly or drive, you get in there Wednesday morning or Wednesday afternoon, you can still make the registration and then obviously make the tournament the next morning. Typically they're 3-day tournaments. So you fish Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You're guaranteed 2 days to fish. You're guaranteed to fish Thursday and you're guaranteed to fish Friday. But you have to qualify to fish Saturday. And don't ask me what the exact number is, because I don't exactly know if it's top 10, 20, 30, top 50%, what it is. I know it's a small number, and it's super competitive to be able to fish the final day of the Bassmaster Opens. You're essentially guaranteed a paycheck if you make it to the last day. As a co-angler, that's just, it was meant to be your tournament. You pulled 3. If you make it to the final day in a co-angler event, you were just meant to be in that tournament, because that means you picked 3, you got pulled to fish with 3 pros who were on fish. And you know, a lot of guys, you could be leading the freaking event Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon after weigh-in, and you could be dead last come Saturday. You know, that's just how the Bassmaster Opens work. So, you know, and that's not to bash anybody who's won anything, seriously, because you can't make the fish bite your lure. You still have to go out there and get after that fish. But I'm just kind of showing you how everything kind of lays out. Other honorable mentions, you know, all the guys that lose, I appreciate your constant support. All my SLP custom speed spools, love those reels. I took them to the open event this year, and I've taken them literally through all of my local events here. The Gambler Free tournament that I finished high in. There's been a lot of tournaments. There's been a lot of stuff I fished this year. I love those reels, so shout out to you guys, as well as everybody at Mystery Tackle Box and Shop Carl's. If you haven't, check out shopcarls.com. You can save up to 30% on stuff, and the best deals, I'm talking the best deals in the fishing industry, are on that website right now. So get on over there. Everything from tackle bags to rods, reels, apparel, every lure that you can think of. Get on over there and check them out. So again, this is a huge shout out to all the supporters. I appreciate you, everybody, all my friends, all my family. Thank you for the constant support. I'm hoping I'm able to link up with a pro again next year and really make a swing at this Bassmaster Opens co-angler thing. Next year, I'm really hoping to make all 4 events. This year was really rocky and really ridgy for me. Until next video, hope you guys get out there, stay safe, get out there on the water and catch your next personal best. Hit that subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and we'll see you right back here on the Bass All Year channel. Y'all take it easy. We'll see you next video. Later, y'all.